The next morning, the office felt unusually still to Wai-in. The quiet humming of computers doing little to smoothen her fragile nerves. After the confusing, intense encounter at the park and in the lingering questions in Taeyong's eyes, Wai-in had spent a sleepless night. She was running uncharacteristically late, her mind still replaying the sight of Taeyong and Nari laughing together. Desperate to make up for lost time and avoid any awkward encounters in the main hallways, she found herself rushing towards the executive elevator, a shortcut she rarely dared to use, knowing it was strictly for higher management. As the doors chimed softly and slid open, her eyes widened in alarm. Her heart leaped into her throat. Inside stood Taeyong, surrounded by the entire board of directors. Their faces were a tableau of serious, unsmiling expressions, their morning discussions clearly weighty. Taeyong, standing tall at the head of the group, looked up. His gaze, unsharp, unyielding, immediately locked onto hers. A jolt went through Wai-in, of course, of all the elevators. A profound silence fell inside the elevator. The board members who had been mid-conversation stopped talking, their eyes darting curiously from their new CEO to the seemingly out-of-place designer. Taeyong, his voice firm and commanding, cutting through the tense silence, though YN detected a subtle, almost imperceptible tremor beneath his casual, controlled tone. Gentlemen, please step out for a moment. I need to have a private word with Miss YN. The board members exchanged bewildered glances. This was highly unusual. One old director cleared his throat nervously. Director Lee, Mr. Kim, with all due respect, we have an urgent budget review schedule. Is this really the best time? Taeyong, his eyes now fixed intently on YN, held a silent demand that broke no argument. His voice was sharp, leaving no room for discussion. Now, Director Lee, this is more urgent. He didn't raise his voice, but the authority in his tone was undeniable. Reluctantly looked surprised but obedient. The board members filed out slowly, their eyes darting between Taeyong and a visibly uncomfortable YN as they exited the elevator. The doors then slid shut with a soft hiss, leaving YN and Taeyong utterly alone in the ascending metal box. The silence was deafening, thick with unspoken questions, unresolved history, and a palpable tension that made the air crackle with a silent electricity. YN felt trapped, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. She knew deep down that this was the moment he was going to ask. The elevator continued its silent ascent, the air thick with an unbearable tension. YN felt utterly trapped, her back pressed against the cool metal wall, her heart hammering against her ribs like a drum. She could feel Taeyong's intense gaze on her, burning into her skin. The moment she had dreaded for years, the moment she had run from, was finally here. There was no escape. Taeyong turned to her fully, his posture rigid, his eyes piercing. All the anger, the confusion, the yearning from the past few days seeming to converge in his gaze. He held up a small sealed envelope. Its crisp white surface stark contrasts its dark suit, looking impossibly heavy in his hand. Taeyong, his voice low, strained, devoid of his usual sharpness, replaced by a raw, almost desperate vulnerability. I got the results this morning. He took a slow, deliberate breath, his gaze never leaving hers, demanding answers. I need to know YN after everything I saw, after meeting her. His words hung in the air unfinished, yet the implication was chillingly clear. YN felt a cold red spread through her veins. He knows, or he was about to know. She squeezed her eyes shut for a fleeting second, wishing she could disappear, wishing this was all a terrible dream. Taeyong, his voice gained a desperate edge, a tremor of emotions breaking through his control. YN, I need you to tell me the truth. right now. No more hiding, no more running. Is Nari my daughter? His voice cracked slightly on the last word, a mixture of hope and utter terror in his eyes. He watched her face, searching for an sign, any confirmation. The silence that followed was agonizing, stretching, amplifying the sound of her own ragged breathing. The elevator felt like a steel trap, shrinking around YN as the young's desperate question hung in the air. Is Nari my daughter? Her heart hammered against her ribs, a frantic, desperate rhythm. Fear deep and chilling gripped her like an ice hand. This was it. The moment of truth she had dreaded for so long. She looked at the stark white envelope in his hand, then into his pleading, demanding eyes. Every fiber of her being screamed to deny it, to protect the fragile life she had built. YN, her voice barely a whisper, a desperate automatic defense, though it cracked with the effort. No, she is not your daughter. She is not. The life felt like a jagged glass in her throat, a shield she had instinctively held for so many years, but it crumbled under his intense gaze. Taeyong's eyes, which had held a glimmer of desperate hope, now blazed with a furious, disbelieving intensity. His face was contracted with a pain and profound sense of betrayal. He took a forceful step closer, his voice raising, a raw and guttural echoing of the confined space. Taeyong, you are lying, YN. How dare you? How could you look at me in the eye and lie about something like this, about our child? Do you know what I have been through since I met her? The questions, the hope. He thrust the envelope into her trembling hands, the crisp papers feeling a scorching brand against her skin. Her eyes blurred with the tears as she scanned the undeniable proof. The words DNA test results swam before her, followed by the stark, irrefutable conclusion. Result: the probability of paternity is 99.99%. Nari is biological child. The paper slipped from her numb fingers, drifting to the floor of the elevator like a lost feather. Tears streamed down his face now, hot and uncontrolled, mirroring her own, blurring his vision as he choked out the words, his voice thick with raw, agonizing pain and disbelief. Taeyong, his voice breaking, a sob tearing through his chest. Why did you leave me, YN? Why did you keep this from me all these years? Why did you hide my daughter from me? Do you have any idea what you have put me through? What you have put us through? I loved you so much. Don't you know how much I searched for you? How lost I was when you vanished. He sank to his knees, his hands reaching out to her, pleading for an answer to the years of silence. Tell me why, and please, just tell me why. Taeyong's broken words, why did you hide my daughter from me? I loved you so much, ripped through YN's last defense. The sterile elevator, once a symbol of her professional life, had become a chamber of raw, agonizing truth, with the DNA results scattered on the floor, undeniable proof of her secret. Her legs gave way. She crumbled, sliding down the cool metal wall, a broken heap of shame, fear, and overwhelming anguish. Sobs tore from her throat, raw and uncontrolled. The dam had finally irrevocably broken. There was no more hiding, no more lies, only the devastating truth she had carried along for so long. YN, through her own raised sobs, barely audible, her voice thick with anguish. She is your daughter, Taeyong, our daughter. The confession was an agonizing release, a truth that had weighed on her soul for years. I found out I was pregnant right after you said you are going out of the country. I was so overjoyed, Taeyong. I couldn't believe it. I was going to tell you. I swear I was. I couldn't wait to share the news, to tell you we were going to be a family, a real one. She choked back a fresh wave of tears. The memory of that joyful, then terrifying, a day still vivid and raw, fresh as yesterday's pain. YN. But then my father. Her voice trembled with the sheer horror of the memory, a shudder running through her. He was so deep in debt, addicted to alcohol, and he told me he had sold me to a billionaire to pay off his debts. He said I was going to be married off, become his property, a way to settle his debts.